volunteer to tell a bit what you saw in this video, what are the hazards, the risks, or maybe you can share a bit, do you found anything that is very similar to your workplace where you think, I need to improve?
All similar.
All very similar.
Yeah.
You can actually tell anything that you found in that video. So anyone volunteer? And it's not exam, okay?
Not exam, volunteer.
It's just a discussion, and we assess whether, do you know how to identify the hazard and so on. So no exam, we need to.
Yes.
Yeah. Discuss a bit. Okay. Okay, wait. The starting part, the video. Did anyone find out anything at the starting?
Yes.
Yes.
The fire.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire
Okay,
the
fire
coverage.
extinguisher. So what is the hazard there?
Is it cover?
Yes, the keyword is covered. Then now that one is the hazard that you found. What is the risk
Risk.
for the covered fire extinguisher?
Fatal.
Very difficult to assess, and it may actually cause delay when you are doing emergency, right? Then how do you assess this risk? First, we start with likelihood. How likely this will happen in your workplace? Covered, no lah. But if we blockage. So 1 to 5, what is the rating? 5.
Four.
Meaning every day when you almost every day you walk past something.
Yes. Almost.
Okay, then we'll put 5. So can I actually write something using this? Yes, sure. Then I will do.
Then
Somewhere that you guys can easily see this. Let me put this to the middle.
there also finish.
Okay for the people
Okay.
here? Okay. Can. So the first whiteboard. Okay, the first hazard.
Asha.
Okay, red will be better, right? Okay, the first one you say
Cover.
covered fire covered extinguisher. So the risk here is actually the consequence here is actually may cause delay to emergency response. I will put ER delay to emergency response, and it may actually, when we have delay, it may actually cause damage, property damage, right?
Yes.
Then we have property damage. We just choose one. Then now, after we identify the consequences, we will have risk assessment. So when we say risk assessment, the first one is likelihood. How likely this will happen? Just now, like Najrul said, it's rating 5. Very frequently that this covered thing will happen. 5. How severe is it? How severe? How do you rate this? A tips here, we can refer back to the consequence that you mentioned. 5. Property damage. Okay? 10. 5. So the risk level here will be 25 lah. 5 times 5. existing control, sometimes you have, but you didn't realize that one is your existing control. For example, I believe the safety team or the safety hub committee, you have line walk. You will walk around and check. That one is your existing control. One of your existing control. So you can include that as your existing control. But now, with only this existing control, do you think that you can resolve this issue? Not really. That's why the rating is still very high. So now, what is the recommended measure that you can try to implement in order to reduce? First, when we talk about recommendation control, we will try to use the triangle. Control of hierarchy. So control of hierarchy. The first part we think of elimination. Can you eliminate anything from this? We eliminate the claw, but it's. Do you think it's applicable as in every time you go and eliminate the claw? Okay, eliminate the clock is just a correction. What you can do immediately. But what is the preventive? When we talk about control measures, we try to think of preventive action. Meaning that when you implement this control, this issue won't happen anymore. So I believe elimination, it will be hard lah. Impossible for you to eliminate the fire extinguisher, right? So substitution. Do you think you can substitute this with anything? No, it's not applicable at all. Then next, engineering control. When we talk about engineering control, it's more to this design thing. For example, you have machine, then you have guarding. You design a guarding. That one is one of the engineering control. So, do you think you can implement any engineering control in this situation? Okay? Any?
Put the current. put the cover then shot.
You put the covered as in?
Alarm. Put the sensor. Who close that one, the sensor alarm.
Oh, you mean that you design something like a detection?
Yeah.
So when something blocked or something covered, then the alarm will. Yeah, can also. It's something very creative.
Yeah.
I don't think any company have this. So yeah, something you can implement. It's quite creative.
Engineering.
I never actually honestly, I never think of this. But it's something very creative. As maybe you can have some system alarm to help you to detect. Yeah, very good. Then next, administrative control. Do you think you can implement any administrative control? What is the example of administrative control? Signage. Yes, signage. So when we talk about any administrative control, we will talk about like work scheduling, signage, training. All these are administrative control. So like for that example, we can put signage to remind. Do not block fire extinguisher, or do not cover the fire extinguisher. The signage has to remind and to warn everyone. Then PPE. Is PPE applicable? No, right? Okay, so this is the example that you can do. So just now our RC here, we have one is engineering control. Like which is very, very creative. I like it very much. Which is alarm. Then secondly, we can implement administrative control. For example, you have signage, or you can have training, awareness training. Make sure that everyone is aware of that. Okay, other than this covered fire extinguisher, what else? What are the hazards? Just now everyone talked about the makcik, right? Yeah. Okay, what is the hazard there for the makcik?
The shorted.
What? What is it?
So I said short.
Contact stress and
Makcik.
motion. Okay, repetitive motion. So we have a few So secondly, just now we have contact stress. Then we have also
Hah?
repetitive motion. Okay, what is the consequence for contact stress? Carpal syndrome. So now, do you have any existing control for this?
Mari penyakit
Hah?
dengan salah satu contoh
Mousepad.
I also have it.
Ah.
Yes, mousepad. So the existing control is mousepad. But this mousepad, you see, it's very personal as in not everyone really use that. Some they know, oh, I can actually use this for the hand rest. But when you use this, you need to know the right way to use it also. Because although it's quite protective, but if you put too much pressure at this place also, it still will cause some issue. So I actually heard some suggestion from one of these safety officers. She briefly told me like how to correctly use the mousepad. So she said you can actually put the hand rest at upper part or lower part. You don't put it at this part, because when you put it at this part, it won't help much as you still putting force at that area. So yes, you can have the the existing control is mousepad. Now, what is the likelihood of contact stress? Low. Okay, depends on the job lah. Some, if office worker, it will be very high. So for your case, it's low because you seldomly use that. So if low, what is the rating? Number rating? Two is what? You can feedback. Rating 2 is? Rating 2 is test. Okay. So what do you think for your case? Then
likelihood is 5.
5.
Because why? Because it is like everyday activity.
Everyday lah. Even the operators or okay. So we need to set lah who is this person doing this. So if from that video we know it's the office lady, so the likelihood will be 5 lah. Okay. Severity? 3. So 3 is permanent. So it may cause permanent. Then now 5 times 3. So 15 is under. So now, what you can do? What is the recommended control measure?
Stretching.
Stretching?
Every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes? Okay, I think the purpose here is to make sure that you don't actually do the work continuously for long hours, right? Okay, can? What else? control. So another thing where we can actually try to think, is there any legal thing inside here? So as I mentioned just now they like to have ergonomic risk assessment, where you can have someone to help you to assess the risk here and see how severe is it and what to do according to the ergonomic risk assessment. So we can see from the result from the ergonomic risk assessment, and we will propose this action according to the assessment. So highlight here is a very general assessment, but when we go into this document here, it's a specific risk assessment only in ergonomics, especially in ergonomics. Similar like if you heard about noise risk assessment, it's on noise. Chemical health risk assessment is for chemical, exposure of chemical to employees. So you can implement someone to do this ergonomic risk assessment. Okay, another way. So like you can have a short break. You want to have a short break with every 30 minutes, right? Okay, can? Every 30 minutes. Then repetitive motion. Repetitive motion. So the repetitive motion is where this lady keep on typing, right? So what is the consequence? What is the consequence for the repetitive motion?
Muscle pain.
What pain?
Muscle
Muscle pain, okay. Muscle pain. Or maybe I think this one finger joints or not comfortable at the finger area, okay. So any type of pain lah. Now, do you have any existing control? No. Okay, no existing control. How frequent this will happen? How frequent this will happen?
Every day.
Every day.
Every time.
Right. Every time.
But
Severity?
maybe 2 lah can recover.
2. What? Why do you, the reason behind if you want to put 2?
Like really need no break, so but this muscle pain can recover lah.
Because it's not like a very long-term thing. It's just like at that moment you feel uncomfortable when you do typing. Okay? 2. So now 5 times 2, 10. So 10 is under? Okay, medium. So now when it drops under medium, meaning that you do not need to have immediate action, but still you can start to have planning on what to do to reduce. So for this one, we can also implement a similar action for this from ergonomic risk assessment and also short break to make sure that you don't continuously doing the same thing to your finger for long hours. Then we will also assess it based on the risk assessment, whether it's very significant or it's the risk that is tolerable. Okay? So, yes. So, other than that, what hazards that you found? Other than the machi,
Chemical
cross-contamination.
Use chair.
chemical, cross-contamination for chemicals, right?
Makanan.
Chemical
Aku dah
hazard.
cakap.
So, it's about
Apa boleh tak yang punya? Cakap. Apa nak ni?
so what is the consequence there?
Poisoning.
Food poisoning. So, control.
Close the.
Storage area, chemical storage area.
Chemical storage area.
Yeah.
Yes, chemical storage area. Proper chemical storage area is your existing control. But now, do you think it's effective?
No.
No. Still someone putting the, I think it's an acid, right? From the label, it's an acid at your pantry area. So now, how likely this happen? So think back, in your pantry area, every day when you go through, when you pass by your pantry area, do you saw any chemicals?
No.
No. So the rating will be one. One. Then severity,
Oh, five.
five.
Food, 3, 4,
Food poisoning is 2.
Two. So you can actually, so you can actually refer back your consequence. If your consequence put fatal, then definitely the severity is fatal. So food poisoning, the worst case scenario in your history is food poisoning. So food poisoning, okay, like maybe 2 or 3, depends on how many acids that this person telan, right? So you want to put 2 or 3?
3 lah,
3. 3. So this one is 3. So it's a low risk. So low risk meaning that you do not need to have any, it's not required for you to have any additional control measures. But then if you want to have control measures also can. So the most common one we will say would be training. Okay? So the common one normally lah is training. So for information, after this you can actually go to your pantry and look around. When we talk about this chemical hazard in pantry, we will always check on how you put your food and also the dishwasher, or the detergent, everything. So normally in pantry you have like the area to store your plates, everything, your food, biscuits, right? Some they will actually store the detergent at the same place. So this is not the correct way of storing it. If you want to store it, make sure you store it separately. Detergent is at another location, and the foods, or the plates, or the forks and everything is at another separate location. Okay, if you store in a same cupboard, same area, then this will happen. Because when we talk about chemicals, in that video, the chemical is not closed, meaning that maybe the chemical will spill, but certain chemical they will evaporate. They are gases. So at that moment, maybe your food will be contaminated by the gases. So that's where make sure that you separate it well, and make sure no chemicals are brought into office. Although maybe you need to show your client samples, so you store your chemicals in your office. No, don't do that. So make sure the chemicals are stored in the chemical storage area. Okay, so other than this, actually there is a lot more. Where, for example, if you notice, most of the people didn't notice that there is a paper scrap machine. So what usually happens, and normally that we found in the office, is that you won't off it. It's on for the whole day. So true story, where this, I don't know why this person tried to get a paper scrap machine in their house. So they have, like puppies, and the puppy, they don't know what is that. Then this puppy go and lick it.
Yo.
And the whole tongue stuck inside. Yes. So make sure that when you are not using it, of it. Or if the paper scrap machine, they have the cover, close the cover. Because you don't know, anytime, if you have trip or fall, your finger go into it, then accident may happen. Because that thing is go with sensor. If they found out, oh, something is there, then they will start working. Okay, so be careful on that also. And what else? Let me recall back.
The guy put like under
Not using the proper tool. He's not using leather. Then it's more to something like ergonomic also. A bit on the ergonomic also because it's an overhead thing. And the market also. The market actually many hazard at the place. Another thing is her posture. Her posture and also the workplace is actually quite limited. A very small area. She couldn't actually stretch out and very minimal movement. And also if you can recall back, there is some bags at the middle of the road. And the printing machine, if you realize the pathway is very, very narrow, but the printing machine already blocked like half of the pathway. And also these people try to do the maintenance and checking when the machine is on. If you know I believe you know lah, the printing machine inside there's roller and moving parts, right? So the machine is on, meaning that your finger has this potentially you will actually, the finger will roll in. So there's many more. So from that video you can actually notice how office also have so many hazards where we usually ignore it. Okay? So now when in the future when you try to do harass, please consider office. Consider your workplace. And office also, because when we do harass and when we talk about occupational health and safety, machines and chemicals is something that you can actually see it and you know, oh, it's dangerous. But when it comes to office, when you are dealing with paper, printing machine, you are used to it already. Meaning that you will think, no lah, it's not dangerous at all. It's normal to do that. When you start to have this feeling and you start to ignore it, then yes, accident, the risk of having accident will be higher lah, will increase lah. Okay? So that is for our individual activity. So we will have a group activity. So let me check. Do you want your group activity? Okay. For group activity here, you can look for your own group members as you like. If you want to group with who also can, no problem. But I want the group to be 3 or 4 people in a group. Okay? 3 or 4 in a group. If you want 5 also can, but maximum is 5. Then if you think that you want to, okay, maximum 5, I'll give you more freedom. Maximum 5, minimum 1. If you think that you can do it alone, no problem with that. Okay? Then you can choose, you discuss among yourself, and you can choose any process or activity or any location in this scope. Any process, you can choose some process in the related to maintenance or warehouse or cleaning or production, packaging, or even office work. Okay, you can choose any of this. So you choose one process and you try to create your hierarchy accordingly. Meaning that you choose one activity and you have sub-activities, then you do hazard identification, what is the consequence, the risk assessment, and also what is the recommendation. Okay? So now, after that, we will have a short presentation to assess the understanding in the group. So you can present it in any forms of style. Some you can prevent using play role. You act lah, you do acting also can. If you want to present like a very formal way, a serious way also can. If you want to do like a discussion also can. You want to write it on the whiteboard also can. No problem with that. Okay? As long as we share and we discuss the findings that you found related to hierarchy in Discord. Okay, at the same time we will have our friend will go for prayers. So our break for this will be longer lah. But we come back at 3:30 for the presentation. Okay, so for this around 1 hour, you can use your time for the prayers, toilet break, and discussions for the presentation for this group activity here. Okay, so if you have any question, you are feel free to come and ask me. Okay, any question before we go to group activity? So the group activity is not constrained in this training room. If you feel like to go to the workplace and take a paper to write down what you observe, also can, no problem. As long as at 3:30 we come back. Okay?